Good morning.
Good morning.
We've been heating our house with our outdoor Heatmaster G10000 and it's been working awesome. This year we want to change up how we store our firewood. There's something we're going to be doing in a little bit for how to store the firewood, but then also over here we want to build an area to keep the firewood in. We don't plan on keeping a year's worth of firewood up here. We plan on keeping probably enough for a month at a time up here. When you see everything else, I think it'll make sense. But we have a bunch of projects we've been trying to work on, but the rain's just been messing us up. We actually got another inch of rain overnight last night that we weren't supposed to get, but we did get. So there's some projects that we've been working on that we can't finish yet. So we're gonna be working on our new firewood shed. So we gotta figure out the layout for it.
This is something that's a long time coming, but I think it's good that we waited because we have a totally different idea that we would have done originally.
Yep. We want to build our structure off to the side. And I'm trying to think if we want to come over the top of this too and just over to this side and out the front. So that way there's no snow getting over here. But what I was also thinking is we'll have the storage for the firewood. And then if we bump it out a little bit wider, we can put our electric smoker up here. So we can have that closer to the house when we're smoking meat. It's right here by our outdoor wood boiler. We need to get some measuring done, figure out the layout. We got to cut back the bank here. We got to move some of these big rocks out of our way. And then...
That's going to look so amazing when we have that done.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to figure out if we want to build over this, just to this side, because that would kind of encase all this. And maybe the design of the roof structure of the two little runs down there. All right, so we want to come out almost 3 feet if we did that. And then the door opens up. So yeah, that'd give you more than enough room for your door if you went 3 feet. And then...
I have to pull a handle before you open it.
So that's just over 6 feet, so that's 9 feet. So say 10 feet, so that'd be 3 feet, so that'd be 13 feet.
If you're new to the channel, we also heat our hot water all year round with this wood boiler. So when he opened it up and there's some smoke coming out, because we always have been keeping it going. It's on all the time, constant. We don't have to hardly touch it in this time of year, but just keep it going so that we have hot water. And we have nice hot water all the time.
So this is a Heatmaster gasification wood boiler. This is a G10000. This is oversized for the harvest house, but we plan on building a small little cabin over here in the future, and this will heat the harvest house and the cabin, and we plan on having a garage attached to it, so that could also heat the garage. This will heat 10,000 square feet. But this thing, as of right now, we only burn 3 to 4 cords of firewood per year, and that's running it year round to have hot water. So it does really good, and it's really affordable to run for everything. All right, so now hold that there. I want to get a measurement because that'd be a foot. So let's say 5 feet. Okay, so hold it here. So you'd probably want to go 2. So you'd want to go 7. For wood storage, and then you're going to want to add probably to here. Okay, so now take it and go over that way, a foot past the boiler, just out of curiosity.
Yep.
So you'd be, say, 16 feet. Basically.
And do you have room for snow shovels?
Yeah, you'd have extra room here and there.
Oh, and then another bay for my car, and then another bay for your truck.
I have a feeling the final design of this is probably going to change a few times before we finish.
You ready to change your mind 5 times on your way up here?
Yeah. All right, the first thing we got to do is I'm going to take a bunch of these big rocks that are over here, take them out, and I'm going to stack them in the TYM, and we'll go bring those over to our rock pile. And then we can start cutting into our bank, seeing what we have, what the lay of the ground is like, and get this all figured out. All right, I decided I gotta move this firewood out of our way, because if we stop building and we leave it here, it's gonna be in our way later on, and it's gonna be more of a pain to move it. So we're just gonna move it now, and then we'll be able to deal with it later in a better spot. So I put my Ironcraft grapple bucket on. I'm just gonna grow in, grab it, scoop it, drop it off, come back, grab it. I don't know, it's probably gonna be 3 or 4 loads here, I bet you. And then we gotta clean up our billboard top, and then I can start cleaning out this area and getting it ready for our building. So that was a lot more loads of firewood than I thought. Gina got stung by something. We're not sure what. I saw one snake. I didn't tell Gina about the snake because she doesn't like snakes. It was a little tiny baby gardener. But she didn't know about it till now.
Well, I'm glad.
I didn't tell her for because she don't like them, but yeah. So it took a lot longer to move that wood, but I guess it's a good thing to have that much wood kicking around. Gina was trying to fold up the tarp and something stung her hand, so we don't know if there's a nest in there or where the wasp came from. I actually do see one flying around right there. So he just landed on the tarp. So yeah, I wonder if they have a home, or if they had a home inside that tarp. That'd be my guess. Let me go get rid of this last load of firewood, and then we can start digging. I am gonna go put the regular bucket back on the TYM. We'll have that up here if I need the bucket. And then I need to start digging with the excavator and figure out our slope and how big of an area and how flat to make this. I might have to build a little bit of a stone wall, retaining wall back here, because it does taper down. So if I build a little bit of a wall, keep it higher, and then we can have it so when it rains, the water comes and then washes down that way and doesn't come into the woodshed. I'm thinking that's gonna be the best thing, but I'll find out better once we get digging. So let me get the firewood in the boiler. We'll get the other bucket on, the TYM, and then we can get this figured out. I'm kind of like that. Like, I get a game plan in my head. I get stuff thinking about how I want to do it. But then when I'm working with the land, it's more of like an art to see how things work. So it's kind of, things can change until it's finalized. A nice grapple bucket comes in so handy. I know earlier I said this was an Ironcraft bucket, and it says Titan Implements. Just a random fact. Titan Implements has changed to Ironcraft. There used to be 2 Titan Implements. One of them is made in the USA, which is now Ironcraft, and you can only get those at dealerships. And the other Titan is, I think it's like Titan.com. They're online implements, and they're made in China, I want to say. I have both because I didn't realize that before. The ones that used to be Titan Implements made in the USA are really good. Now Ironcraft, really good quality implements, I will say. So yeah, they have switched. So it's no longer Titan Implements for these guys. It's Ironcraft. Just a random fact. I don't know. I thought that was interesting when I learned that there was 2 different companies named the same. So yeah, something to know. And I also want to keep the rocks separate.
Over here pulling some more potatoes, getting another row. Pretty excited about the couple I just pulled out, so I'm excited to finish the row, see what we get. I have some company while I'm doing it. I love that. I love you guys. I think this is so awesome to be able to have them. Oh, Country's jealous.
how am I gonna get any work done if you keep staring at me? And then I want to stare back at you. Huh? Alright, I gotta dig some potatoes. I only have a little bit of time to get one more row.
All right, before we get too carried away here, let me get some measurements and get some measuring figured out to see how far this way I want to go and how far back I want to go. And I already have different thoughts in my head going for different retaining walls back here. So yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna do yet, but I got like 4 or 5 different ideas going in my head, like retaining walls. We need to build some kind of retaining wall. Do I do it rock? Do I do it cinder block? Do I do it out of 6x6s? I'm not sure yet. My mind's still racing. So that's what I'm saying. As I'm working, different things come to me, looking at the lay of the land and all that stuff. So let's get some measurements done. We'll get the measurements figured out, how much more over this way I want to go and how much more in that way I want to go. But we're getting close. We're getting closer. All right, so from here to here, I said 2, 5, that's 7. And then 2, 5, 7, and then 3 would be 10. Actually, I think I want to go 12. Okay, so we're definitely far enough this away. Let's go 12. We're over that way enough. We're going to come back, we're going to straighten this out, and then I want to figure out what I want to do with this whole section. I'm thinking I want to do some kind of retaining wall all back here and make this more easily accessible, if that makes sense. All right, we'll bring the excavator back in, take the big rocks, throw them over there, start loosening this up, and then I can bring the TYM back in, take out the majority of the meat, and then I can clean it up with the excavator after. This has already turned into a bigger project than I thought it was going to be at first. I started and I'm like, man, I think we need a whole retaining wall here. So we're going to keep chiseling this back a little bit and getting this all cleaned up nicey nice so we can get a retaining wall all the way behind the outdoor wood boiler. And then we can clean up this bank. When we set the outdoor wood boiler, when we built the house, it wasn't, I don't want to say it was a rush, but I was like, winter was coming. Fall was here. It was getting to be we needed heat in the harvest house. We had to get that hooked up, but we were still in the middle of building the house. And then it got really cold, so I didn't finish up any of the dirt work out here because we had to get back in the house, and then it was cold, and then just one project led to another project, and this one got left off. So we gotta get this finished up and cleaned up, get that pile of dirt out of there. So I'm gonna get the excavator up here. We got some rocks up here I wanna go through, pick the big rocks out, set them aside. We got some more rocks right here. Then we can start chipping that away and getting that ready to set our retaining wall. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, I need this front corner to stay here and this back to come forward. Straighten that out. That's good. I wish that rock was tapered more that way, but it is what it is for now. We'll have to work with what we got. We don't want to move that way, I guess, but we got to get it. There we go. Come on. Okay, now we need you to sit back down like that. All right, I think I like that. I can work with that for sure. Wow, would you look at that? That is another rainstorm headed our way. It's definitely raining over there in those mountains. I want to try to get this corner done before the rain shows up. It'll be nice once we have this done. We'll have to do a wall down that way later on, but I want to get this done, and then we can, once we can get behind the boiler done, I'll be able to set the excavator over here and I'll be able to work it better. But I want to get the harder area done because I got to work from above, get this corner fixed up, lined up, and then we can work that way. But I'm hoping we can at least get those couple of stones set before that comes in. Well, here's that rain. We didn't beat it. I gotta put the camera away while it's raining because cameras and rain don't mix. So I'm going to cover right this second. I'm gonna put the camera away. I had to go finish setting at least that rock that I was working on. We can't catch a break with this weather.
I'm going to be making one of Al's favorite meals, and it's super easy. It just takes a little bit of time, but it also makes leftovers. So what I'm making is meatballs. What also makes meatballs easy is to use a scoop, so that way you have all the same size coming out basically. And so I have never used, this is a bigger size, so I like the bigger meatballs because we like to cut them in half. So I'm just going to just dump all my stuff in and mix it up and then just start making meatballs. So I have some salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, some parsley, just some stuff I just put in here. Just gonna get that in, and then this was a stuffing that I had already in the pantry that needed to be used up. So I'm just gonna put some in because I'm not sure if I need all of that. And then I have 2 eggs. The reason why I have 2 eggs is because I have a pound of burger and a pound of ground pork, maybe a little bit over a pound of ground pork. So I just want to make sure I have enough in there. So I'm just going to make that, mix that in. Let's see how my scoop's gonna do. And I'm still gonna form it just a little bit, but at least I know it's pretty much almost done, and then they're all the same size. All right, I didn't count how many meatballs that I got, but quite a few. I could do, if you want to make this a bulk meal, you could do even more. Take out a couple packages of ground burger and a couple packages of ground pork. But if you did 2 packages of each, you would have twice as much, and then you could freeze some. So, and I find that meatballs, they freeze well, especially when you do them in sauce. So I'm just gonna dump the rest of this jar, and then I have my other jar in here that I'll put in. This is awesome. I believe someone sent this to us like a really long time ago, but it's just small, simple, pop your cans, so easy. So I just dump this on. That's the only thing with tomato sauce is it can get everywhere. Put it on. I'm gonna put it on low, and then I'm just gonna leave it in the crock pot. I'm gonna stick it in my crock pot, put it on low, and I'm just gonna leave it there until we're ready to eat. So if we're gonna do this with pasta, which I'm not sure yet, then I'll just make sure I cook my pasta, have it on. I have enough sauce in there that we end up using the sauce that's already in there. That's why we do 2 jars, because you could do less if you wanted to do your sauce separate.
Good morning. It is the next morning. I don't think we got any more rain last night, but we got a mud hole down when we were working, doing the morning chores right now, and Gina was trying to water the chickens, and that hydrant was not working. So I'm curious to see if this one is. This one is not either. The lower hydrants is still working. So let's go take a walk up here and see what is going on at our spring. It's telling me that for some reason the spring box is low and we don't have water at the spring box, but the water lines from here down or from there down are full of water, and the box is just starting to get empty. So let's see what we can find. The spring box is low. We have plenty of water flowing. We just gotta figure out why it's not going into the spring box. Now it's coming in. That water is nice and cold. We just had a bunch of debris covering the inlet with all of the water we've been getting. I'm sure it's just rushing everything down that normally wouldn't get rushed down. So we'll get this filling up with water, and then we can start using our hydrants again. Usually if we have an issue without water, it's the spring box, and it's usually, so far, fingers crossed, it's just been debris getting plugged up. So I got a screen over the inlet so that way we don't get anything big in, and that's what's been getting plugged up. I think this is the 3rd time this year. Every year it's like once or twice I got to clean it off. This year it's been a lot more, just because, yeah, we're getting a lot of water, so it's just running everything down crazy. You should have water now. It'll probably take a second to get here. So the water up here will be slow until we get all of the air out of the lines. There's not a huge elevation change from there to there. So when we first get water in the lines, if there's air, it's very slow. Once we either go down to the barn and use the water tonight, or go down here and use the water, it'll get the air out of the system, and then these hydrants will be working fine. But we don't need any water down at the barn because we've already done all those chores this morning. So we'll have to wait till tonight to get all the air out of the system. Well, that rain that we weren't supposed to get flooded out our job site. I had looked at the weather, planned on starting this project because we weren't supposed to be getting any rain for about 4 days. So I was like, perfect time to get it dug out, get a rock wall built or whatever we needed for a retaining wall, get this filled back in. I dug this down because I want to put stone down, and then I'm gonna put a concrete slab in. So it's like 4 days we can get that done and prepped. Well, then we had that rain pop out of nowhere. So now we have a muddy mess in a pond. Up there where I need to work with the excavator is pretty soggy. So we're gonna call it quits for now and see if this will dry out, so that way we can get back in here working and get the retaining wall built next. I am really happy with the way everything is turning out. The start of the rock wall was looking good. I tried doing more in the rain and it kind of not messed up, but I had to stop, set in some other rocks. And so that's why I know I need to stop and let this dry out a bit before we continue on. But I'm really happy with it. It's gonna clean up behind the Heatmaster boiler. It's gonna be nice to have our new wood cover and a place to put our smoker. But we just gotta be smart and call it quits for now, and we'll pick it up in the morning. So this is where we're gonna end this video. Thanks for coming along on our homesteading journey. You guys are a huge blessing to us in our homestead. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe. We'll see you right back here in the next video. Bye.
Bye. Or maybe we should just make a pond right here. Look how deep it is in some of these spots.